You're using Linux right now, and you probably don't even realize it. Welcome to the Explainer, the invisible giant, Linux.
Literally 100%. That is how many of the world's top 500 supercomputers are running on Linux today. It has quietly eliminated every single competitor. But hey, it's not just sitting in massive research labs.
Section 1. The Invisible Operating System.
To really grasp the sheer scale of where this system lives today, honestly, just look around you. Got an Android phone? You're carrying Linux in your pocket right now. It's built into Samsung and LG smart TVs, and it runs inside cars from Tesla, Audi, and Toyota. And it doesn't even stop on Earth. Linux literally powers SpaceX rockets, and incredibly, the Ingenuity helicopter currently flying around on Mars.
Section 2. What is Linux actually?
So, what exactly is this thing quietly running our digital lives? Well, to explain it simply, without getting bogged down in complex code, let's think about how a car is built. When we use a smartphone, we're interacting with the finished vehicle. But beneath the hood, there's a fundamental engine making the whole thing run.
Linux, at its absolute core, is a kernel. Think of the kernel simply as the bare-bones engine of that car. It's the software that handles all the heavy lifting, it manages your computer's memory, tells the processor what to do, and talks directly to the physical hardware. It is literally the beating heart of the system. But, you can't just drive a bare engine down the street. A Linux distribution, like Ubuntu, Debian, or even Android, is the rest of the car built right around that engine. Vendors and communities take the Linux engine and add a graphical interface, apps, a file manager, and a web browser. Basically, they add the seats, the steering wheel, and a nice paint job so you can actually drive it.
And right here is the real game changer, the massive difference between Linux and what you're probably used to. Unlike Windows or macOS, where the source code is locked away in a corporate vault, Linux is an open system. Its code is free and open source for absolutely anyone to use, modify, and distribute.
Section 3. A college student's hobby.
So how in the world did a free engine edge out multi-billion-dollar giants? It's a pretty wild story. It all starts back in 1983 when Richard Stallman's GNU Project began building a free operating system. They built all these great tools, but were missing one crucial thing, a working kernel. Enter 1991. A 21-year-old college student in Finland named Linus Torvalds decided to write his own kernel, basically just for fun. By September of that year, he publicly released the first version.
He actually released his hobby project on the internet completely for free. At the time, existing systems like Unix were bogged down in massive costs and intense legal battles. Because Torvalds wrote his code from scratch, it was a totally fresh re-implementation. He completely bypassed all those legal hurdles, making this super powerful technology accessible to regular home users on their personal computers.
Section 4. Inside the Linux engine.
What makes this system so incredible is that it's built like flexible digital Lego bricks working in really logical steps. First, a bootloader wakes up the memory. Second, an init program launches all the background processes. Third, the kernel manages the hardware itself. And finally, the user interface boots up, letting you actually click around.
To make the whole shebang work, vendors combined Torvalds' kernel with other free software, largely from that original GNU project we mentioned. You have the C library translating commands, the bash shell giving you a command line, display servers drawing the graphics on your screen, and package managers keeping all your apps updated. It's just a massive, completely modular team effort.
Section 5. The Open Source Revolution.
But what truly made Linux revolutionary wasn't just the code itself. It was the incredibly human way it was built. As open source pioneer Eric S. Raymond noted, Linux wasn't rigidly planned by some isolated corporate team. No, it evolved naturally. It was casually hacked on by massive numbers of volunteers all across the early internet, creating this sort of rapid Darwinian selection. The best ideas survived, the bad ones were instantly tossed out. And the absolute crux of this is its license. Torvalds adopted the GNU General Public License, which is built on a genius principle called copyleft. It's this brilliant kind of reciprocity. You are totally free to use and improve the Linux code, even commercially. But if you distribute it, you are legally required to share your improvements with the world for free. You can't just take the community's work, lock it up, and make it secret. You have to give back.
This massive organic collaboration is exactly why Linux completely dominates today. I mean, it runs at least 80% of all public cloud workloads. Think about that. When you open an app that relies on Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud, you are almost certainly running on Linux servers.
And the numbers get even more staggering when we look at the broader internet. Over 96.3% of the top 1 million web servers run Linux. That is a massive chunk of the web. It is the absolute backbone of the internet you use every single day.
Which leaves us with a really fascinating thought to wrap up this explainer. If a 21-year-old student's free hobby project can evolve to run supercomputers, the entire cloud, and literally fly helicopters on Mars, what other world-changing innovations are being quietly built by volunteers right now? Keep your eyes open. The next giant might be invisible too.